Thank you. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here at this hour of the night from my country and to be wearing lipstick just before you're about to sleep. So I presume that it takes a lot of courage. It also requires a lot for a person not to dye their hair and come into public. So, yesterday somebody asked me, you look a little older than you actually are. And I'm actually really happy because earlier my students used to tell me that gray hair is not a sign of wisdom. There are a lot of other things which are a sign of wisdom. Gray hair is just a sign of old age. And at this point in time, with the limited time that I've been given, I've come here to make friends. So I want to take back 5, 6 of you with me when I finish my session. I hope to earn your trust and I hope to earn your love when I finish my 15 minutes. So that's all it takes, ladies and gentlemen, fellow Toastmasters and guests, to win a friend or win an enemy. And I believe in words. I believe words have a certain prestige which is attached to them. Words are very pristine and they're very, 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 very hurtful if we are not able to use it the right way. So I've been a Toastmaster for more than 22 years. Now, this is a fraternity which brings people together irrespective of your gender, irrespective of your culture, worlds across. And I believe that I've met Sunny Varghese many, many years ago. He still happens to look the same. He's like the Indian actor Dev Anand. And, he's as green as, he is always. And he hasn't changed one bit, right? So at the end of the day, it's all about friends. It's all about networking. And I firmly believe in the quote of Napoleon Hill, who said that to succeed in life, you got to first succeed being yourself. And I think my only message to all of us today is that I'm somebody who's managed to do a lot of work through speaking. I have managed to bring in a lot of social change through speaking. I've managed to become the voice of many people who are unable to speak or express themselves. I've also been able to help people who are on the brink of depression and who are on the brink of going down in their lives to just come up within 2 to 5 minutes. And that's all it takes for the human brain to get charged. And the only tool, fellow Toastmasters and guests, we have, and we are so lucky to have, is the power of word. And I think at the Toastmasters, we are given an opportunity to come here and keep brushing that power up, keep exercising that power, keep learning from one another, and improve the most important tool that I have in my kit of communication. It's called the power to listen. When Deepthi called me last night, I was very honest with her and I told her I'm jobless tomorrow. I could have said I'm very busy. I could have said I don't have the time. I could have said many big things, but you know what? I've always learned to be simple and straightforward. And there's no two ways about my communication style because it's blunt and straight to the point. It saves what is most precious in our lives. It's called time. People who need to save time and get other people to invest their precious time into good listening need to exercise what I call the power to connect within. If a speaker is able to connect within and become more mindful, you automatically will start respecting and giving dignity to those who are listening to you. I've got many life stories and I cannot share it in 15 minutes, but I hope to share at least some of the stories as we go along and as you go along in the journey of Toastmasters. I believe that at some point, we are so blessed that we can talk to each other at the click of a mouse. Earlier, it was so difficult. And at all stages in my speaking career, I have realized, ladies and gentlemen, that we as speakers have choices. Either to elevate someone else's mood and mind, or to depress your own and everyone else's mood and mind. And it's completely dependent on the choice of words. It's completely dependent on the choice of experiences. It's even more important in what I call mastering internal peace. A speaker who's peaceful will always enable the listeners to become peaceful. A speaker who's sure will enable a lot of surety in listeners. A speaker who's honest will 100% elicit trust in audiences. And I think that's what great speaking is about: honesty, integrity, trust. But very importantly, do you have the courage to be you? I definitely, for one, have it. And that's why in this instance, I would love to say, others may not like what you say, but that does not justify the right for you not to say it. And many of us are really worried about other people's opinions. And that's why when we speak to people, we tend to refine our speaking too much. I believe we bring in quotes we don't much believe in. I also believe that some of us bring in stories of other people. My humble request to speakers is bring your own stories. There's nothing like a unique, individual, strong story that all of us in this room, about 50 of us, having 50 independent stories, which can be so powerful that it can move the world of the listener. We learn through sharing experiences. And fellow Toastmasters, a butterfly wasn't just born. It's a huge journey. And this journey of speaking for me has never stopped. Even before I was a Toastmaster, I was always a professional speaker. And I think the only difference between a person who speaks at random and a professional speaker is the fact that a professional provides value for every single word that comes out of their mouth. There's a big difference between chatting and speaking. And I've observed a lot of people who come and watch a YouTube video. They listen to someone else's story and they morph it and make it their own. In the world of digital connect, in the world of cut, copy, and poorly paste, I always tell my younger speakers, please, even if you make mistakes, even if your grammar is not perfect, even if you don't have the plot in place, try and be as honest as you can. And believe me, you can win a world out there. To many, speaking is about championships. To me, speaking is about giving up everything that I have as an experience. To many people, speaking is about being a person who can impress audiences. To me, speaking has always been about having to express myself loud and clear. And I think that really separates an amateur from a professional. That really separates a person who's coming here as an orator or someone who's offering value and bringing a lot of culture and trust to the table. I think it takes a lot of effort, and that's why it was very rightfully said that you ask me to give a speech for 1 hour, and I will just come and do it like that. You ask me to give a speech for 5 minutes, I need to prepare for 1 week minimum. And that's the reason why many speakers start to speak, and then we are praying that either the speaker dies or I die. Because it's so boring, it's so terrible that you don't feel like listening to them, but you're forced to be here and you're forced to listen to them. Ladies and gentlemen, listening is a matter of choice. And when someone is really being kind to exercise that choice, to give you not 1 but 2 years, I think it becomes mandatory on the speaker to offer them a masterpiece. And when I say masterpiece, we need to master our own piece. A speaker who's restless, a speaker who's troubled, a speaker who's unprepared will come across as somebody who's not sure. And in today's world, nobody has the time to listen to people who are unsure and bring about just textual content onto your speaking. I believe your whole life should be brought into your words. A word can be used in different contexts by different people, and different forms of energy can be given to a word. And I think that's where the craftsman comes into play, where we can chisel every word to not just impact, but also influence the listener's minds. I take this opportunity to share with you that the most important rule and lesson in my speaking has been the fact that I'm always grounded. I stretch far and high, but my feet are always on the ground. Humility is a hallmark of a champion. And I believe that people who are humble, they come across as being very superiorly humble, and people accept them very, very well. And it's so beautifully said that empty vessels do make loud noises. It's so beautifully said that deep waters of the ocean always run silent. And at the end of the day, if you really need to be creative, you need to lose the fear of being wrong. You go out there and make mistakes. You go out there and speak your mind. You also make sure that your heart is connected. In my journey of speaking, it's taken me a good 35 years to connect my head and heart. So the longest journey in my speaking has been 12 inches, the journey I cover from here to here. Sometimes people speak only using here, and many times people speak only using here. Both ways, it's dangerous. We need to start connecting your head and your heart to our speaking. And I think it brings in a certain kind of magic where people want to listen to you. People want to do what you ask them to do. So what do we become? Highly persuasive, highly inspiring, offering a little bit of information, but most inspiring as a speaker. And that's exactly my intent of being here. Sometimes in future, maybe if you invite me, I would give you a couple of stories of mine. And I think they have plenty of inspiring stories of mine on Google. Unfortunately or fortunately, you will trust Google more than me. So you need to go and do a run check. I'm available on all channels except Pornhub. And I know in Toastmasters, we can't talk about things. So all of the men you see, they're having a good smile on their faces. So at the end of the day, we need to be lighthearted. We need to also not mean harm. We can tease each other. We can play with each other. We can massage each other using words. It can really refresh and re-energize listeners. When you've had a tough day and you listen to a lighthearted, beautiful speech, you feel really good. When you've had a bad time, currently as we are going through, I think groups like this will make a big difference in the corners in which we live. Sometimes people call me and tell me, I just wanted to talk to you for 10 minutes because I just want to feel energized. Some of the people ask me, do you drink? Where do you get this energy from? And I just smile and tell them I drink Horlicks. And that's just on a lighter note because I just like to crack a joke or two every time I speak. A sense of humor is the key to my success. Even if I tell somebody you're going to die, they actually laugh. Because I keep saying so many funny things, they don't know whether probably the most serious things are also funny. Being a doctor, I deal with death day in and day out. And even my patients who come to me, my students who come to me, my friends who come to me, they never forget me because of the fact that I crack a joke or two. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe that humor is a learned skill. A sense of humor is an accomplishment that all of us have. It's hidden, it's innate, and it's latent. We need to tap it out. I urge all of you being professionals that it's not only about the subject, which all of us are experts at, but it's also about the subject that we are talking to, that we need to really become experts at. I did not use a PowerPoint today because I call it death by PowerPoint. In today's world, people like the PowerPoint more than the speaker. And they will ask you, where's the PowerPoint? Can you share it with me? Where's the PowerPoint? Can you share it with me? They forget that the most powerful PowerPoint is between our ears. 2.5 petabytes, that's 2.5 million gigabytes. We are not even using 1/4 of that capacity. So I urge all of you, I request all of you to first charge your brains before you speak and then connect it to your tongues. And how do you do that? With a big smile. I observe that Toastmasters, very few people smile. And I have done this and seen this since 22 years. I have also observed in India, most of the Toastmasters are men because back in their houses, they're never given a chance to speak. So this is one forum where a man gets to speak and a woman gets to listen sometimes. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe a woman speaks about 7,000 words in one day. And a man speaks about 3,500 words in one day. And you know why a woman says 7,000 words in one day? Because the 3,500 words she has to repeat twice so that the man listens to her. We all have skills which are unique and independent, and they're gender independent. I'm gender agnostic, religiously agnostic, culturally agnostic. I respect everybody. For me, it's not man or woman, it is just human. And I believe that when you're speaking to a human, you have to tread very carefully with utmost respect. I thank you for this opportunity. I also thank you for providing me a platform to share a few of the things I strongly believe in. Mindfulness is one, honesty is another. But at the end of the day, let me end by saying, to succeed in life, first succeed at being yourself and not anyone else. So with these few words, I've spoken well within my time. Those who really respect other people's time, respect their own time. It's a commodity which can never be bought, but always spent. Love is also a commodity which cannot be bought, but it needs to be spent. Where there is a will, fellow Toastmasters, there is a highway. And I believe that you need to exercise that highway. With these few words, my gratitude to Deepti, my gratitude to Deepak, who's a friend who's given my name to Deepti, and that's exactly what you call networking. He called me in the morning and said, if you're uncomfortable, you can say no. How the hell can I be uncomfortable with a Toastmaster? And guess who I found today? Sunny Verghese, a contact I'm going to renew. And guess who I'm going to look at now? All of you who were speaking to me, starting from Diana to Leo to even Mansoor, and of course, Deepti. Deepti was a little scared to bring me on because I'm a very potent speaker. I speak the truth. I call a spade a spade. So sometimes people are worried about me, but at the end of the day, the truth always prevails, whether I speak it or somebody else speak it. So at the end of the day, thank you so much. They say that if you don't know the language of gratitude, you're not speaking a language which is connecting to people. So if I don't say thank you, I'm failing in my duty. I want you also to please send me a couple of messages on my chat. I'm very easy to reach. My name is Ushy Mohandas. It's write2ushy@gmail.com. I'll share it in the chat box. I will really love a lot of words of appreciation, and I don't want feedback. We Toastmasters have gotten so used to saying the opening was good, but the body can be improved and the ending can be improved. Excuse me, I'm very happy with my body. And I believe that at some point you can manage to improve my opening and my closing, right? So at the end of the day, that's on a lighter note. Some of you are giving me those looks, but yes, if there's anything I can do in future, please reach out to me. And I deem this a beautiful privilege to have shared whatever little that I can. It took me 40 years to be an overnight success. So that's the kind of midnight oil that one needs to burn for your journey to become a butterfly. Thank you for the opportunity. Those of you who love me, can you please raise your fingers? Yeah, and those of you who don't, please raise your standards. All right? So that's just being a little cheeky, but I think you need to take a risk sometimes when you speak. And I believe that you understand that I am mischievous as a person. I've been a doctor who's been an outstanding student. Every day of my class, I used to be thrown out of my classroom. So I've always stood outside and thereby an outstanding student. So I guess like I'm a student of communications. I continue to be one, and I'll never call myself a teacher or a master. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ushy, for that riveting words. Let's all indeed have the courage to bring our own stories and revel in the power of forging that personal connection. I'm sure I speak for everybody present in this meeting that we will surely ruminate over those beautiful points that you have shared with us and take them to heart. Please, let's give Dr. Ushy a fabulously huge, thunderous round of applause.
Thank you very much.
May I please request Toastmaster Deepti to present Dr. Ushy Mohandas with a small certificate of appreciation on behalf of ToastEd Toastmasters.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Shivan, and thank you so much, Dr. Ushy, for accepting our request on 11th hour. And it was really 11th hour because it was 11 o'clock for her in India, I guess, when I called her. And she really kept her word, and she today came here with such a short notice and gave us such a inspiring speech. And I really thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much. We really enjoyed your speech, and I will let us all give nice feedback, not feedbacks, compliments to her in writing, and you can all send it to write it to her, as well as you can send it to me. I will make a nice flyer out of it. Thank you so much. And Shweta, will you please share the certificate?
Yes, sharing it now.
So, Dr. Ushy, this is a small gesture of appreciation from our side. Please accept it and we will send it over email
Yeah,
also to
thank you
you.
very much.
Thank you.
So much. Thank you.
Back to you, Shiba.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Deepti. We now move on to the next segment of our meeting tonight, which is the prepared speech session.